Have a good meeting, man.
Well, good morning, everyone. How you doing? Adam, what's up, man?
What's happening? I'm excited.
Did you just come back from vacation, drinking wine or something?
Yeah, never again. Wine's it's brutal on your system.
I bet it sneaks up on you. Yeah, no, of course. Ian, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I can't call it. How about yourself?
Oh man, I'm doing fantastic. I'm blessed. I follow you on social media, man. You and your wife, man, you take some beautiful photos.
Yeah, she's amazing. I'm just there on the side.
No, we all agree. We agree with you. When's that baby due?
July 9th is the due date, man.
That's exciting, man. Miss Larico just had his baby on Sunday.
Oh, wow. I got to reach out to him. Congrats.
So he answered me back really quickly, but then he didn't answer any of my texts after that. So I figured he's got his hands full.
For sure.
Yeah. So especially when you have other kids as well, because you got their needs and then you have the new baby. So it's quite a bit.
Yeah, we'll see. My other baby's a year and 2 months, so we'll find out.
Oh, that's gonna be great, back to back.
Yeah.
So my
We'll
two
see.
younger ones are 2 years apart. And what's really awesome about that is once they get to a certain age, once little baby Thomas was walking and like really understanding a lot of things, they become best friends. So now it takes a lot of pressure off of us because now they're interacting with each other, right?
Yeah.
They're both jumping on the trampoline together, they're swimming together, they're riding bikes together, they're drawing together. So the environment really matters. So having more than one really keeps them interactive, and they learn and grow faster together as well. So that's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm ready for that.
Because it's not all you.
Exactly.
If you have just the one child, it's 100. I was telling Remo the same thing. It's 100% you.
Yeah.
But you have one more, now it's only 50% you.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome. So, and once you have more than 3, it's like, well, it doesn't really matter after that. I mean, what's an extra piece of chicken? So it's you can go from 3 to 9 real quick, no problem.
Oh, wow.
So thanks for hopping on today. It's really exciting. I'm glad you guys are on today. It's really exciting. So, I don't know if you guys know Richard Chung, but Richard comes to us from Realty One. He has a team. So a team of 4, amazing individual, lives locally here in La Mirada. And we're actually building a coaching program together for the Market Center, which is going to be pretty awesome. So Richard has, a proven track record of doing things at a high level. He's a musician. He's a natural teacher. So he has some really great things and he's always inquisitive and learning, which is pretty amazing. And that's kind of what I love about the inner circle, or being on the inner circle, is that, all of us together, we don't have all the answers, but when we mastermind together like this, even myself, you'll see me here with my head down, I'm taking notes. There's some really great information that comes out from the inner circle that if we just to apply 10% of the things that we hear or learn or do, how much more business we can get, or how much more we could leverage our time and spend some more time with our families and stuff. So we were just chatting earlier today about some CMAs, and I know my partner Adam here, was making CMAs. We were printing them, we were binding them, we were mailing them, we were sending them to people's houses, and we were getting good responses from that. And it's like, okay, that's great, and a lot of people don't do that. So just doing that alone is amazing. Like what I heard Richard talking about is like stepping it up another level. And I was like, oh, I love that. I love stepping it up a level. It's like, okay, well, I make cold calls. Well, doing this is another level. I door knock. Well, doing this little tweak steps it up another level. So if we could just help each other level up, then I think we could acquire more business. So, Richard, you want to talk a little about the Cloud CMA, and we can kind of just dive right into it?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know why my video's not connecting here, but I can show you guys my screen. So one thing that I've been showing my team, everybody can hear me, right? At least?
Yes.
And then if you, Rob, can you make me the host so that I can share my screen?
Can you do it now?
Let's see. I think so. All right, are we on my screen?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so what I wanted to show you guys, basically, whoops, is I don't know if you guys are familiar with using Cloud CMA. I've been using Cloud CMA a lot, and right now, actually I have so many windows up. You guys are on my Cloud CMA screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I have been showing my team is, of course, there's like the traditional view PDF thing that we can send to people. So here's my, regular old Cloud CMA that I'm sending people. But what I found to be more effective, instead of just sending this out to people, is going to this View Live. And you can go in here and kind of customize however you want it to show. But I have these this breakdown here. So one thing I like about this is you don't have to go through everything. What I do is I do a screen record through Vimeo. So Vimeo, I told Rob that it was free, but it was actually not. It's $7 a month. So what I do is I record my screen, and I'm kind of going through all this stuff, right? So the first thing I usually do is I go over comps. So you hear the comps, and I'm kind of explaining it. But one thing cool about Vimeo that's I found to be better than the other stuff is here's an example of my Vimeo video. You guys won't be able to hear it, but see my picture down there? So I'm talking through this basically with the client. So it's as if I'm really there with them in person going through a CMA, because sometimes you send a CMA several pages, they're like, okay, what the hell is all this? Like, I don't have time to read through all this. I don't even know what most of this stuff means. But by creating a video, see my mouse is going and I'm explaining each item. Here are your comps, here's your average pricing. This is what I'm going to explain to you, right? So then I'll kind of go into my comps. I'm like, look at this, is 11768 Blackcourt, and look, 11719 Bunker Hill, close for this much, da 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 da. And it's as if I'm right there next to them going through this. It's a short video, it's about 6 minutes long, so it's like getting time right in front of your client for 6 minutes, right? One thing I love about this Cloud CMA too, as well, like when you're in here, I was kind of going through this with Rob this morning. So after I go through my comps, I go through my average pricing, average price per square foot. So I'm like going through all this. Another thing I throw in there, or that I want to throw in there, I haven't done it yet, but is to start it off with Google Earth. I saw this other agent do this. So one thing that's kind of cool is, let's say if I wanted to do a CMA, I want to do a CMA for this home in Fullerton. So this just starting off your video like this. So now I'm clicking go on my record button, right? So I'm ready to go. I'm recording this screen now. And my picture is gonna, my face is gonna be down here. And this is the subject property right here. And it's just a really cool visual. And while this is rotating, it's rotating on its own, by the way. I'm not even doing it. I'm kind of with my mouse pointing out, hey, here's your home. A home right over here across this on the other side of Hughes Drive sold a month ago at 980,000, and another home here sold for da 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 da. So I'm already kind of preparing. I've got it rehearsed, and I'm showing this through Google Earth, and it gives them a better perspective, and visually it's just more pleasing, right? It's all about the visual when you're doing video. It's got to be visually very interesting for them to continue watching the video. So I'm here, I'm like, this is your home, and by the way, did you know that this home is an escrow for da 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 da? And then I'll go into my Cloud CMA Live, and I'll go through my presentation here. Right? I go through time to sell, 16 days on the market, estimated market value. I don't go through a lot of this other stuff because this is stuff that I can just email them. One of the things I love to sometimes even close with is online valuations. How accurate are estimates? Because I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times I get clients that are like, oh, but this estimate told me my home was worth $50,000 more than what you're telling me. Then I show them this. this is the Zestimate, and these are the actual sold prices. The Zestimate was off by as much as 8.2%, $56,000. Right? This is actual sold price. This is a Zestimate. So these are numbers, all right? I mean, we all know Zestimates what they are, right? They're obviously not real people doing it. It's an algorithm, right? It's not a real agent going through and valuating a property. So I kind of show them, look at the difference here of about 5% average, as much as 8%. So this kind of, I like to end it with this. These are the pendings with that whole thing, but you can kind of do it the way that you want. I try to encourage my team to rehearse it, go through it, maybe even have a script on how you're going to present this instead of going, let me just show you this, and then next time, I'll show you this. But just really going through it and making a video out of it like this, right? So this video is just playing. See, I'm ending with the Zestimate. In my video, I'm showing him $47,000 of a difference between the Zestimate and actual sold price. So this has been highly effective. I have an appointment this Saturday. I was just showing Rob the text messages. I sent this to a previous client of mine. And actually that client, I never even sold him a house. He was a client that wanted to buy a house a couple years ago. He's still renting. He still hasn't even bought yet, but he's like, hey, my dad needs to sell his house and he lives in Fullerton. Can you help him out? So I sent him this, and I've got an appointment for this Saturday, 9 a.m. to go tour the home. So I hope you guys can find this useful. It's Vimeo. It's $7 a month. I would pay $7 a month any day to have myself right here on this corner and going through everything. It basically, this is your as close as you can get to a face-to-face conversation with or face-to-face presentation with your client.
Gotcha. Awesome. So let's spend a minute and break this down real quick. So we're going to shoot a video. The video is on Vimeo, right?
Vimeo.
Yeah.
So
VMO.
Yep. So here it is. So what if you guys use Google Chrome, you can add it to your Google Chrome up here. It'll actually prompt you. So if you go to Vimeo, set up an account, do the single user $7. I think a team is like $20 a month, and you can add it to here. So when I add it here, let's say I'm on let's say I just want to record this. I can just click on Vimeo here. It's probably not going to let me do it right now because I'm on a Zoom call. Oh, it actually is with my display. So then I set which camera I want to use, right? My microphone. So this is my GoPro that I have on the side here. So I kind of like having the side view, and I start record, and that's it. And once you start record, I'm just going to record this real quick. So let's say I record. So here we go. So now the screen is recording. I'm just going to hit stop, obviously, because I'm just recording something real quick. It saves it to your Vimeo account. So here it says, recording, dates, time. You can obviously change this title to the property address or the client's name, and you can send them this link. By sending this link via email, it actually notifies you that they viewed it. Just like BombBomb, right? It tells you that it'll give you an email notification. Hey, this person just viewed this email. Then that way, that's your follow-up, right? Giving them a call, saying, hey, did you get my video? I noticed that you watched it. Do you have any questions? And going through that. So it's really nice with Chrome because there's an extension right here that you can just add.
Great. So step one, we're downloading Vimeo. So if I was to do this, say I did one a day, right? One a day, that's 5 a week. This is part of my lead generation. So when I shoot this video, there's going to be a couple tabs that I'm going to prepare prior to shooting the video. One of them is obviously doing the CMA on Cloud CMA, looking at the comps and understanding it against the subject property. Number 2, I'm going to have a tab open for Google Earth. So the beginning of the video is going to be a picture of the Earth. I type in their address. It zooms into their property address, talking about their neighborhood and what's surrounding their neighborhood. And then I'm going to click the next tab, which is going to be the CMA. I'm going to talk about the CMA. And then in closing, maybe my next tab would be my website, or where they can get more information about me and what we do, to close out the actual video, which is pretty great. So we know that lead generation has three three parts to lead generation. Obviously, one is prep. Number two is actually doing the lead gen. And number three is the follow-up. So, you know, I know my partner Adam's extremely adamant about becoming E to P, right? Entrepreneurial to purposeful. So being purposeful around this is creating some processes and systems around actually what we are going to do here, if you're going to do this at all. So one of them has come up with a plan. What is the plan? How many people am I going to send this out? How long is it going to take? And then add this to my lead generation calendar and then schedule it out. So you were saying, Richard, a good plan for your team is to do one of these a day, you know, 5 days a week. Imagine how good you're going to be at breaking down a CMA and doing presentations. And you could screw up on this presentation. You could just re-record this video.
Exactly. The first time I did it, I mean, I re-recorded again and again and again until I really got the hang of it and got a flow with it, right? Because, I mean, you want to make it a short video. You don't want to go 15, 20 minutes of you just kind of getting lost in it. So the first few times, there might be some, you know, trial and error. And I was also going to say, sometimes I like to end with this here, just showing, if I'm in Fullerton, just showing some really quick stats. And this is what I like to show if I'm showing this to a seller, this bottom section here. Look at those green arrows. Average sales price up 42% since 2020 of last year. You know, average is, you know, 46% average price per square foot on a single family home. I like to kind of end with this. And then, yeah, just kind of going through it, rehearsing it. That's been the key. And one thing that I wanted to add in there too, Rob, is, you know, with my team, you know, I'm encouraging them, hey, send this to your friends who own a home and just say, hey, I'm trying out this new thing at work, you know, giving people home property valuations. And I want to send you a quick video of, can you just pretend you're one of my clients, one of my prospects, and don't be a friend for, you know, for this one. Just give me your honest, brutal opinion of what you think of this. Would you consider selling your home if I sent you a video like this? And this already kind of then puts into their head, oh, wow, my home is worth that much. And they may consider selling too. So you're adding, you know, you're just kind of in a very discreet way sending your friends a property value, an unsolicited home valuation.
No, this is awesome. So let's open it up to the room. Like, what are your guys' thoughts about adding this or doing something like this to your business plan for lead generation? What are your thoughts?
I'm excited about it because it took me forever to bind and get those CMAs printed out. And if you just keep it digital, your cost goes down, your scalability is there. They can watch the video at any time that they want because, you know, everyone's schedule is a little different. So I'm really looking forward to knocking this out and perfecting it.
Also, you control how they absorb the information.
Yeah, and then you're controlling how they absorb the information. It's also a great follow-up tool for if you just met someone at an open house, right? Be a great way to just differentiate yourself from anyone else they would think about talking to.
Now,
Question: do we need a mic? Do you have a microphone that you attach to your computer, Richard, or your?
No, I use my headphones. You know, I have AirPods or I use these, so I'm just recording straight through that.
Nice.
Yeah, Vimeo will give you an option. You choose your camera and you choose your microphone, just like you would do on Zoom.
Right on. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure.
I like it because it's outside the box, especially for millennials. We don't like papers. We want everything digital. So it's a way to stand out. Especially millennials, I believe they usually like to interview multiple people or explore multiple options. So you're the only one who's sending video. So you're staying out by the time you go to the appointment. So I really love it. I'm going to add it.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's why that starting off with that Google Earth image really captures their attention. If you start off your video with, here's your web page with your Cloud CMA right off the bat. For someone, it's kind of like, oh, okay, I've seen these before. Or, oh God, this looks like a business presentation. It's going to be boring. But just starting off right off the bat with that Google Earth image, I think is really cool.
gotcha. Well, you know, there's someone on the call that knows a lot about tech and agent growth in businesses. Cullen, what do you think about doing these cloud CMAs, sending out this link and maybe creating a smart plan around that for some follow-up?
Yeah, I think it's smart, even though I missed the front end. I think I got the gist of it on the tail end. And I think I'll just add some bigger thinking to it just for perspective. I was on a call last week with the guy who got into the business 6 years ago. He's selling 7,600 homes already. He started at the age of 67. He's got 1% of his entire state's market. And the key thing that he told me is he goes, look, the VA opportunity is grossly underestimated. He has 240 VAs. He's got 120 of them in Venezuela and 120 of them in the Philippines. And his point was, well, actually, there was 2 points. One, he came in from outside the real estate space, so he had no perspective on what we should do, what we shouldn't do. He just simply did what worked. And part of what he's doing is sending out information to his database. Like you guys just mentioned, his database is now 1 million people. So a big bulk of what the VAs do is they send out things like you just said to multiple people every single day. So yes, it works. I'm just, I guess, suggesting think about it a little bit bigger.
Think big. There we go. Awesome. What else? Who else has something to share? What do you think?
I think this is amazing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. This is amazing. This is a really cool time saver. I'd love to implement it in my business. The question I had was, what are all of the tools that are using? So I see Vimeo, and then what else are you using?
Yeah, yeah, so I use Vimeo. I'm looking at the chat, loom.com. Loom.com is great. Screencastify, I'm not sure. I've never heard of that one. But I personally use Vimeo, just whatever you guys prefer. I like it because it can capture your video, like it'll capture your face on the corner with your screen, right? And then I have a camera. I use a GoPro camera. And then I use my headphones for sound. So my microphone on my headphones. But websites I'm using, let me just kind of show you real quick. As far as websites go, I'm using Vimeo's Cloud CMA, and I'm also using this other one, SoCal Comps, that I get through my title company that shows, just the numbers of that area. That's really it. I mean, just those 3 things. But most of it is centered around Cloud CMA Live, doing the live version instead of the actual PDF version.
Thank you.
You're great on camera. So imagine, it's like you're actually personally there because you're walking them through the entire process. They don't have to guess at regurgitating the information like, what did I just get? You're personally explaining it to them. And since you're already great on camera, imagine they feel that personal connection, right? You're creating authentic personal relationships with each and every one of your customers by having yourself on camera explaining something that's hyper local just to them, which would be awesome.
Yeah, I like it. Thanks, Rich. I appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure.
Now, I was thinking about doing this in my farm. So I have a small farm area, say 1,000 homes. I can go ahead and create one video explaining the CMA for the entire farm, like what's happening, what's selling in the neighborhood. And then from there, when I send out my mailers, I can create that link into either a QR code, or if I'm door knocking, I could have something attached where they could, obviously watch the video from there, and I could see who opens it. Or I can create a landing page on command to capture their information before they get the link as well. I could do one for the entire city and send it out to all of, say, La Mirada, for example, like a Facebook lead ad saying, click here to get, a live version of, what's houses are worth in East Whittier or something like that, right? And then use the Facebook lead ad campaign to capture their information as a lead. And there's a lot of different ways you can kind of spin this thing. So depending on how you want to run it, but what else do you have to input? Remo's obviously thinking about something.
I am. I got the tail end, but it's not real estate related. I have some AMC shares and they're going bananas today. So I have that on the other screen and getting a smile on my face. But I caught the tail end of the Cloud CMA and the whole idea of getting the VAs to really leverage that. We have our VA do a few things, and I think we could definitely, target more just seller business versus just administrative business. So yeah, I think it's that mindset that every person on the team has to be able to produce business coming into the team. And sometimes we go away from that because we think that someone's not a salesperson, but their activity could result in that sales activity.
I will add a comment, Remo, just based on the guy that I was talking to last week. He did say a couple things relative to the VAs and some things I didn't really think about or know. Number one, as it related to the Philippines, he went direct. He's not paying a third-party company, which I had heard of before, but I was too lazy to do. And the reason why he went to Venezuela for the other 120 VAs is because he's in Florida and he needed a Hispanic speaking folks. And that's where he got a better quality for the activities that they're doing, which I hadn't heard of anybody focusing on Venezuela. And then in both cases, he made a comment that I hadn't heard, which is because of their economies and what's available for those folks to work, he's hiring doctors and lawyers to do this type of work that just don't have a job, which I was surprised. So the quality of his candidates is phenomenal.
And you mentioned he's going direct there. He's not going through a third-party company in Venezuela?
In the Philippines. In Venezuela, he is going through a company. So I intend on interviewing him again to pick up a few more details, but I'm going to be sending him a couple messages in between anything I can glean, and I'll put a little sheet together. As I've done already with tech, I have all these different tech tools, and I had our VA put together everything that you would need: pricing, contract terms, who to contact, their contact information, hours of operation, what the product does. Right now, I think we're at about 32 products and counting.
Awesome. You just actually posted something on Firestone. It was a content calendar for social media posting, which I thought was really great. I'm not sure if everybody.
I noticed that we have the content creation day scheduled. My next call after this is with Tanya herself, and we're going to go through a couple things. So if there's anything you guys can think of now that you'd like to make sure is in that presentation or class, I'm not sure what we're calling it, then shoot me a DM or let me know right now, and I'll take some notes.
Cool. And Adam, I just saw your question. I don't know. I mean, my way of following up on the whole CMA thing. I mean, usually I'll also send them a PDF with it. But especially once I send it, I'm following up and saying, hey, by the way, just sent you this. So the cool thing about it being in a link is you can text it. You don't have to even email it and wait for them to open up their email or their, you can text it, which is just, I mean, obviously just a lot faster, right, for them to view. So once they get the text, they're just clicking the link right through their text message and it's just showing up on their phone. And once they watch the video, I'm following up again. I'm like, hey, did you watch that video? Isn't that crazy? Like what your home is worth now? Did you see that estimate thing? I don't know how off that was. So yeah, I mean, just following up like I would follow up on any kind of, property alert that they search one of my, they're viewing one of my properties 5 times, something like that. It's really pretty much nothing different from those.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah. I was just wondering if you had like, hey, send out the video, next day, give them a call, day later, shoot them a text. If you just kind of had a follow-up system on it. But yeah, I would probably text it first for most of my people, just because, I mean, I know email is the worst way to get a hold of me. So I think a text message would be easiest, especially on the phone.
Yeah, especially I'm calling them if they never even viewed the video. I'm calling them, hey, I sent you this video. Did you get it? Did you take a look at it?
Awesome. Okay, so Father's Day is coming up. We got CMAs going out to our customers, another lead generation source for some listings and buyers. What are we doing for Father's Day? Are you guys reaching out to these fathers? Are you doing something, maybe some Popeyes or something to be able to, draw up some referral business?
Come on, Rob, you got to slip a dad joke in there next time.
I got lots of dad jokes. Oh, that's all I got.
I know we're going to send out cards, but we're going to focus on Popeyes with like a rub or a spice, since everyone barbecues or grills for Father's Day pretty much. So we just want to make sure we step up our face-to-face now that things are opening up.
Are people seeing more, relaxed people out there when it comes to COVID and going to their house and door knocking and doing some open houses? Open houses? Who's had an open house last week? That was pretty successful.
Yeah, we had an
Edwin-
open house the last 2
We had
weekends.
an open house.
How'd it go?
It was good. Most of them were agents. We had a few clients coming in, but it was a good activity. And not as before. I remember back then when we used to do open houses was like packed on people just walking because of the signs and everything. Right now, I notice people are like, even some clients like went to the house. Oh, you guys already having open houses again? Like meaning they were surprised. So little by little, they're coming back.
I found one thing to be great about doing it now is because of the whole COVID protocols, right? Protocols, we're able to keep a group in there and just talk to them one-on-one without another group walking in and you're kind of distracted, and you can totally focus on that one group by letting them know, hey, could you just, please wait out here. We're just going to show one group at a time, kind of using COVID-19 as almost like an excuse, right? Whereas before you have 4 or 5 groups in there, you can't really even talk to anybody for one long period of time, but it really gives you that one-on-one time with the group. And you can really, I felt like the leads that we got over the last couple open houses were a lot better than before because of that one-on-one time.
Are you finding for the ones that did open houses? I know Adam and Jose, you did a couple. Edwin, you did a couple. Richard, you did a couple. Are you finding customers coming in without agents, or customers that might have had an agent but just walked into an open house regardless?
A little bit of both. We had a lot of neighbors come in to check things out just because they were curious. So,
But a lot of them are interested in purchasing it.
yeah, and then even some were interested in purchasing it themselves. So just having that conversation. And now I know I'll be sending them a video CMA to follow up.
One of the things that was on my mind about doing open houses again is, a lot of the agents who are representing buyers that aren't still convinced on putting buyers on contract. And right now, I mean, your buyers out there desperately looking to get into a home, how more likely are they to want to work with a listing agent, especially when they meet one that has more than one listing that's very successful, that could easily get them into this home or maybe another home, that you might lose your customer if you are not bringing the value up front on the buyer side. I mean, you really got to prove your value to hang on to your buyers. What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, especially if they're a builder, because if they're thinking of selling and they see that you're holding a nice open house in a safe manner, we had a lot of great conversations around that. And, if you're not really doing much, but putting a sign in the yard and kind of the bare minimum that most agents do, then it's really easy to pick them up. So if you don't communicate your value, there's definitely an opportunity for them to either walk away or for you on the other side to adopt some of these buyers walking around. I know Jose picked one up from an agent who she just wasn't that great. So it will happen if you don't have them under contract, or if you're not showing that value while they're under contract, right?
I agree. Hey, Remo, what kind of camera are you using right now?
A good one.
No, it is really good.
It's
It is a
Sony.
very good one.
It's a Sony. I got it. Excuse me, like 6 months ago. Since the Zoom calls become part of everyday life, I thought might as well make it look better. So someone says, "Oh, these people are even more legit."
There's
So
all that COVID coughing going on there.
Yeah. Get that guy a Buble water. Yeah, come on.
That
Got
guy
the
needs a
coffee.
non-filtered Camel.
no kidding. One thing that to Darrell's point about open house, I think it's an incredible time because you're going to get just about any buyer, unless they're on contract, that's going to say, you know what, I'm been looking for a month, 2 months. I don't care who gets me the house. I just want the house. And if it's a listing agent, then you know what, especially if a buyer goes by themselves and they're not on contract, or you just get a lot of people that just don't want to, engage with an agent until it's that time to actually, see the home. So I think open houses are a incredible opportunity, mandatory sign-ins, which is obviously an important piece. And if you're at some attractive price points, these are going to be good buyers and fill your pipeline. So, if I was either a newer agent or established agent, I would try to hold open houses like crazy the next few months, because once things return kind of back to open houses not being as scarce, you're going to not get the kind of sign-ins as you normally would right now, or you will right now.
If you can get them. So if you don't have a listing, before we'd call agents and they were just, they're busy. They don't want to do open house on the weekend. They're spending time with their family, whatever. But right now, I think open houses, like, for example, Adam's got an open house. Trust me, he's holding the open house every possible day he possibly can. It's not actually available for anyone else to hold it open. How are agents that don't have listings are able to get some open houses?
This is where being part of a big office is kind of important, because you have access to other people's listings that they might not be able to hold open. I think we have one that we just listed in La Habra. It's a condo right under 500, and it's vacant. So it would be available for open houses. And I think our
I'm
team.
here for you, Remo.
Huh?
I said, I'm here for you. Any open house you need covered, I got you.
All right. You want me to set it? What, 11 to 3 today? 12 to 3?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm dead serious about it. So if you are interested, I think we have another one coming up that'll also be a vacant place in Bellflower. So you just gotta split the sellers with me. No, I'm just kidding.
So, right now, everyone's on Inner Circle. You don't have an open house and you have time to do an open house. It's a great opportunity to put your signs out there. Remo's offering some open house stuff. So, reach out to him, shoot him a text right now, stop by his house.
Yeah. And if you're not doing an open house and you're lead genning, it's like, well, unless you're doing something else productive, lead gen is the number one pillar, the first pillar of business, lead gen, lead follow up. So unless those two are being handled, 3 hours a day, then all the other stuff is just noise. So you have to put yourself in a position where you're in front of opportunities that are either going to, in this case, walk in and come in into your home or into the open house.
Pre-COVID, I used to do open houses.
Yeah.
As a team leader, just think about this. I'll find a really great house during the week, like when nobody else wants to do it, Tuesday through Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm at an open house. Well, I'm lead generating anyway, so I'm making phone calls at an open house. Well, guess who walks in? Agents. And I have a perfect opportunity to chat with them about them and their business, right? So open houses were great for me as well in building a market center. So, and a buyer just happens to walk in. Well, that's pretty great too. So right now, I'm not doing any open houses. Those guys are for you. So if you need an open house opportunity, hit Remo up or some of the other listing agents in the office. I'm sure there's plenty of them out there.
Hey, one more thing I was going to suggest is look at out of town agents, because most of them don't want to drive, into town. So those are opportunities to ask for their open houses. LA agents don't want to drive down to Long Beach or La Mirada. Maybe those are some options.
That's actually a great suggestion. So go to the MLS and put yourself on a hot search, sending you an email every single day of every new listing that comes out. Look at the listing. If it's a listing in Norwalk and they're from San Diego, they're most likely not doing an open house this weekend. And if they're another Keller agent, I've done this myself. Other Keller agents are really open to allowing you to do open houses at their house all the time. So, it's like, hey, I'll go ahead and market and advertise this property for you because I'm a hyper local expert. You have the listing. Let's work together. And, your seller gets the best of both worlds and it doesn't cost you any money.
I was just going to add, if you have some sort of way to create a good first impression to them, and they're not fearful that by putting you in the driver's seat, they're going to get a bunch of complaints and piss off their seller or anybody else, just maybe have a little 30-second video clip introducing yourself. And on that note, I think it was a great addition that Carrie Scholl mentioned to me about adding that as a step when you're hiring people and have them send you a video of themselves, which is a great time saver, because one of the challenges she had in hiring people for her team, which is quite large, is when somebody who was amazing was applying for the job, she was fearful that if she ran them through the whole recruit, select, or career visioning process, she might lose them because they were very focused, very talented, and they would get swept up. So by them shooting the video, she could tell who was amazing in 30 seconds and swiftly make a hire.
That's a great suggestion. So you're an agent, you don't have any open houses. Come on in, you should use our green screen room, shoot a video. Hey, this is Rob. This is what I do. Here's what I do to help at open houses. Here's how many signs I put out for traffic. Here's what I do for COVID safety. Here's what I do for follow-up to you and your seller. Let you know how many people came through the house. What were their complaints? What did they like about the property so you can make some adjustments? What did they think about the price? Maybe you have a Q&A of 4 or 5 questions that you're going to send them a survey back on what's happening in their house and what people thought about that. So that's a great suggestion.
You can even
So-
brand yourself as Mr. Open House and just create a brand for locally that every agent that comes across you knows exactly what you're interested in doing. Or Mrs., as Candace just said. It's an equal opportunity branding situation.
So great suggestions so far. What else? What does somebody want to add? Something you want to talk about? We've talked about making CMA videos, being on video, doing open houses.
Yeah, one thing that I I need to make new Keller Williams ones now was I used to have a little pop-up cardboard sign that I would just prop up on the table, and I would have a separate iPad on a stand like this, and then I would have my property valuation little website on here where they could just punch in their address, and on my sign would say, how much is your home worth? Punch in your address here. While they're at the open house, they're looking, they're trying to get their home valuation. So while they're at the open house, not only are they doing a sign, and I would put it not at the entrance, but they would kind of walk in, oh, kitchen table, oh, cool, I can see my home, I can look at my home property valuation right here. And this is on the kitchen table. They're like, oh, so while maybe the husband is walking around the house or the wife is walking around the house, the other one's punching in their address to see what their home is worth. So, I mean, I wouldn't get a ton, but I would get some. But I think if you get one CMA request, that's huge. And that's getting a CMA request at an open house, from a visitor.
Like that.
What do you think, Joe?
Typing. Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
Yeah, I think it's a contact sport, but I love the video idea, right? I use Loom and I use BombBomb a lot. Anytime somebody can see your face and feel your passion, your emotion, like it builds trust. So anything you can do to have people see your face, it is a win. So I love all of that and how easy he made it seem. Like it's not like you need a whole studio to do stuff. It's, have the system built in as far as the website, click, point, walk through it. You could mess up a million times and you redo it and nobody knows. So it's all good. Nobody actually knows you mess up except for you. That's what I learned. So I just roll with it. But yeah, I mean, it's great. It's contact sport.
Gotcha. I'd really like to leverage some VAs to do some of this work for me, but it's really tough to find one that looks like me because there's not very many VAs with a nose this big. It's really tough. So
you can get one of those heads on sticks and they can just talk behind the Rob Ross head. I think that would be good.
That's even a better idea.
Yeah. They'd be like, hi, this is Rob. Hola, it's Rob Ross. And maybe that'll work.
No, that'd be great. That'd be great. So
That'd be funny.
That would be funny. Something I'd probably do.
That's definitely to make the inner circle highlight reel right there.
Yeah. I'll make one of those. I mean, it already looks like I kind of have that, right? I have a little stick. Like,
yeah, that's pretty good.
It can already be one. Gotcha. So, what else you guys got going on? What any struggles or challenges that we're having right now in the business? Something you want to chat about or overcome, or something you've seen that was pretty amazing that you want to input in your business?
We want to plug something really quick. We've been doing scripts every morning.
Oh, yeah.
from basically 9 to 9:30, or basically 8:45 to 9:30, Wednesdays and Thursdays. And we came up with Richard and Jose and Maxime, we came up with a new way to launch our scripts since everything's opening back up. We want to announce a Shake the Dust Off boot camp for scripts. We know that a lot of agents haven't come into the office, and what we'd like to do is have a 4-week boot camp of some scripts that are working in today's market, right? Some of the post-COVID scripts that we're using, talking to our current clients in SOI, some door knocking scripts, cold calling scripts, and then of course social media. So we'll get the dates nailed down, but we want to just announce that here, that we're going to be very purposeful about driving more leads and get more business for the next couple months, because it's an amazing market if you know what to say. So Take the Dust Off boot camp coming soon.
Sounds good. Hey, Remo, Richard had a question earlier that I didn't have an answer to. It came to Facebook lead ads on command, and maybe Colin might know. Are we able to link Google AdWords or AdWorks to?
AdWorks, yeah.
Can we add that when we're sending out a Facebook lead ad campaign through command? I'm not sure if Remo was talking to us, but he's.
I think
muted.
Remo's
yeah.
muted.
So yeah, I think they do have Google. Keep the conversation going, and I'm logging in right now, and I'll let you know.
I know you can add some keywords to there, right? But I'm not sure if that ad works where it like pops up on multiple sites after you've clicked on it once.
Well, there's two main advertising platforms across the whole internet. It's the Facebook platform, and it's audience network audience, and it's the Google one. So those are if you want to advertise on the platform, that's your two options. So I click on create, and yeah, it says they have search ads. So when you go to, can I share my screen? I'll just show it to you right now. So see here it says social, and then it's just Google. So I came here and I clicked on create campaign. When you click create campaign, it has obviously the free ones, which is email direct, and then post. And then if you go Facebook, this is where you would go. And if you go Google, this is where you would go. So there you have it.
Does Google have a lead capture page?
I'm sure they have some sort of lead. Yeah, it's Google. I'm almost sure it does. That's already built in, because the idea is it's going to flow back into command, and then from there you use something to get it out to LionDesk or what have you, what other platform.
Okay, I haven't ran any Google paid ads. I've only done Facebook. You've done Google ones as well?
I've done them on Google, and Google AdWords or Google Ads. You need a PhD in Google. Like it is so complicated. I mean, there's so many like little fine things. If you don't click the wrong button, it never gets distributed. I mean, I've spent hours with someone from another country guiding me through Google and making sure that the ad runs correctly. So I don't know if I remember if I ran it through command before. But if it's as easy as Facebook is on command, I'm sure it'll be pretty straightforward. But if you try to do it just on Google, it's I mean, you got to take a semester class in Google to be able to figure out an ad.
Gotcha. Okay. Anybody else running ads? Ads for your listings?
Rob, I had that conversation with Steve yesterday.
Yeah.
And I kind of, I was talking to him, and and he asked questions about, how are the ads, what are the conversion rates, and so forth. And one of the questions that came up after that is, if you were to start again, what would you do? And the ads are really fillers to the business, right? I think at the end of the day, and Joe mentioned it earlier, it's a contact sport. If I were starting new, or if I had no business, I would say, look at my phone and who are the 20 people that are the most influential people, not so much themselves influential, but amongst their respective groups, right? If you post online, I'm looking for a plumber, who's more likely to comment and say, use this person, use that person? And I would have coffee, breakfast, lunch with those people. I would make it part of my schedule 2 times a week, maybe 3 times. And that's where my business would come from if I was new. Not the ads, the lead time that it takes to convert an actual ad, and the infrastructure that really needs to do it at scale takes a while to build. So if you're looking for business sooner than later, again, it's that type of activity, the relationships that's going to get you the ad. All the other stuff is just really fillers. So after 6 months, 12 months, 18 months of cultivation, at that point, that's when that stuff kicks in. But if you need the now business, and we're in such a dynamic market that if I'm cultivating someone that with really not knowing where the market is going long term within the next year or two, not long term, but within a year or two, the person I'm cultivating might not be an actual buyer because either prices or some other outside factor that's out of my control. So I'm more focused on the business that's ahead of me in the next, really 3 months, 6 months, because things can change dramatically. And again, these 1,000 buyers that I've been cultivating and checking in every so often, they might just disappear because it doesn't make sense for them to buy, or the market has shifted so dramatically.
Gotcha. You use the word influencer. So you mentioned creating something or sending something out there with a question, and the person that responds back, like, hey, I'm looking for a plumber. You got 10 people that respond back that are answering questions. Those are the ones who are most likely going to give you business, whether it be their business or referral business. How do you continue to interact with them at a high level to get them to continue sending you either referrals or their business?
Yeah, well, first it's identifying them. So it's saying, okay, here are my, whatever it might be, 5 people, 20 people, 50 people. And those are the ones I'm saying, hey, we haven't chatted in a while. You want to grab some coffee, since now things are opened up, or breakfast or a beer, or, whatever it might be. And just, have a human conversation with the other person. And the more we're in a relationship with people that, that are high eyes, that, are obviously not in real estate, but they're in industries where sending business might come natural. Those are the people that I'm kind of putting all my effort.
Hey, I'm Russ Ruffino. And if you're a coach, consultant, expert, author, or speaker, I have just one question for you. Do you know where your next client is coming from?
Do you know where your next client is coming from?
I've got it. I clicked on a link that Dave just sent me because I want to watch it later, and then all of a sudden it just started playing. So sorry. It was AdWorks to grow your business. So I was like, oh, he sent me a link. Let me put it on my computer real quick. So I had this thing when I was in Cerritos, I was helping a lot of the new agents just get started in their business, and we created very small business plans for them. And the business plan was around, spending $3,000 or so for the entire year. So we put together a plan to find the 25 most influential people that they know. Somebody that works for FedEx, they've been there 20 years, they're a manager, someone who's always the life of the party, who knows everybody. It's kind of like finding 25 high I's or a couple high D's, right? And then taking them to lunch or coffee once a week. So you're having 25 appointments, 1 a week, every single week, and then taking them to lunch or coffee twice a year, and putting a budget around $3,000. So 30 kind of maybe $300 a month. It's about $150 a week, or $75 a week to either take one person to lunch or coffee, depending on what it is. And then really just creating better personal relationships with those people. It's kind of like what you're doing, but you're finding them outside of your circle, and these are finding people that are inside of your circle. Do you think you have more success with finding people inside of your circle and then working them compared to finding someone on the outside and adding them to adding them to your circle?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people that they're more likely to, and granted, if it's a mutual relationship where both people like each other, right? You're more likely to get business from those people. I mean, now, one thing that was really powerful that one of the coaches, as you played that video talking about coach, is Craig Proctor. Right, one of his seminars that kind of sold me on one thing that he said was really powerful. And real estate's the only business, or at least we think it's one of the only businesses where you open up shop and you're planning on servicing your family and friends only. right? No attorney, no dentist office would ever do that. So the flow of new opportunities or people walking in has to be there. And that's where they kind of the online leads and all the other stuff, but you can't focus strictly on that. And so, you know, so that was kind of a paradigm shift. That was a big aha. When you want a bigger business, it's not just about the people that you know, it's how do you get to those people that you don't know. So I don't know where I went with that, but you said something that sparked that. So
Well, it was finding influencers in your world that could influence to pair you with people outside of your world to continue to grow a bigger world. Because now you have somebody vetting you. So if I find someone who's a high I, who's the life of the party, who knows hundreds of people that I don't know, how do I build better relationships with them so they could attach me to those other hundreds of people? And then we have something in common, which is that person. So now the triangle of trust is still there, you know? They're your friend, they're my friend. Now it makes you my friend, you know? They trust me, I trust you, you trust me. So kind of bringing them in a little closer. So I would suggest finding 25 of those people and then kind of focusing on them to build your business around if you don't have a business to begin with. It doesn't cost a lot of money. What are your thoughts? Thoughts, concerns, grievances?
Rob, we end at 11, right? Can
Yes.
I share a listing I didn't get, and I thought it was pretty, you know, those are the ones that we typically learn from, the lost opportunities. And I went on this listing appointment, and it was in the city of Whittier. It was a condo. The lady needs to sell because she wants to move in with her mom and take care of her mom. So it was 3 people that were being interviewed. The first, she called back and she canceled the appointment. So it was me, and I thought we absolutely hit it off. We did so much more business than the person, the other option. He did 1 sale this year and 2 the year before. So in my mind, it was a clear, like, okay, why would you even interview this other person? And so, you know, not every personality connects with every personality. And I think that's, you know, being kind of your truth, or to whoever you are, and let that kind of resonate. And I think that's really important, even though I maybe was a little overzealous and thought that this was a guarantee in the bag. When we got that call back and we asked, you know, why did you select this other agent over us, knowing that obviously we would probably do a better job than this person that sells 1 property a year. And I'll read the email, because I thought it was one of those things that you know, I didn't know people think like that, but that's my high D and she's a high C, high S, and I knew that, but I still, sorry. Let me see if I can get the email, because I think it's important. Sorry, any closing thoughts you guys throw in there while I pull this up real quick?
We'll definitely want to grab some ahas from today's session. And, you know, obviously, if there's one thing that you're going to do to move your business forward now that you've spent an hour with us, what would that be?
I think the cloud CMA that was mentioned was, you know, what was something important.
I added 2 things. One was a link to an interview that Tristan did on Command Your Conversion, which talks about Google AdWords, but also something came out of our mastermind that I hosted recently. And the only 2 people in the room were Kato and Tristan that were using it, but the conversion rates were 3 to 1, which was insane. And they said it's beating all their other platforms, which was called Google My Business. So I just put a little picture on the chat here on what that is, but pay attention to the ad opportunity through Google My Business. Kato's spending $500 a month. Tristan's putting 1,000 at it, but their conversions are incredibly high. And I got to jump off to another call. I just want to make sure that everyone knew what those 2 things I just added were. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for doing this.
All right, Rob, I found the email. I'll read it quickly. So I asked, hey, you know, why did you not pick us? She said, out of respect to him, I leave it broad. The man was a man of few words, but words that carried such depth. He is humble and didn't say He was humble, but he embodies it. It's like his life experiences have molded it to who he become and stands for today. Without knowing my values and what I desire, he spoke right into my core values. I understand this might not sell the condo for the most, but I desire fulfillment on my core values more than others. Thank you for understanding. And when I got the email, I was like, what? You looking for an agent or a husband? You know, so and I say this because again, you know, sometimes we got to be grounded. And even though we, you know, sold more homes in Whittier, this person sold a house in Whittier like 10 years ago. But still, you don't connect with everyone the exact same way, even though you think that it's a no-brainer. And so, you know, if you're a newer agent, you say, well, I can't compete with this person or that person. There's a buyer or seller that will always connect with us, and then there's a lot of them that will never connect with us for whatever reason. And I think that's, you know, to know that and to see a live example is kind of reassuring that there's business out there for whether you're new, you're struggling, or what have you. Because this person probably looking at it from the other side, saying, okay, this doesn't know anything about us, but had he known, like, okay, I sold one house and this team sold more, the seller is going to ultimately go with them. But you just be who you are and you know, let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, and I mean, that's true. I mean, that's when we do the tour of the house, we try to connect as most as possible with the people. I've went to some appointments where I started with a hug, and you'd be surprised. Like, you kind of know that they're hugger people. You know, you walk up and it just, you know, he's like, hey, it's nice to meet you. Bring it in, right? Boom, give you a hug. It's like, I got that listing. I didn't sell any houses in Whittier.
How I would have approached is different. You know, again, it's a learning opportunity. You know, there's a couple analogies when you're talking about, you know, needing an attorney because you're facing a life sentence or you're going in for a surgery. Are you going to bring someone that speaks to your core values, or you're going to bring the absolute best? And so this is now something that's being added to my pocket, where if I'm competing and I know the person I'm competing with is in that's my now new script or new conversation that is going to be embedded into the conversation that will hopefully create some separation and some sort of metaphor that someone says, no, if I'm facing, you know, murder charges, I'm going to get the best attorney that money has, or if I'm having a surgery, I'm going to get the best doctor. So, again, learning opportunities is how we view it every time.
Logic makes you think, but emotions make you act.
Yeah.
Must have got him emotionally.
Yeah, apparently we didn't. So
great. Someone's got their hand raised. Quick question. I see a hand up. It just says iPhone. I'm not sure who it is.
Maybe it was on accident.
Maybe it's on accident. Anyhow, if you don't have any questions, I really appreciate you guys coming on, and check out the training calendar. We've got like great things coming up. So we're going to be having some fun here in the Market Center. We're going to be learning a lot, and we are going to be crushing it. So squeaky wheel gets to grease. Come on in. Let's see you here. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.